Well, good morning, YouTube. Over at the shop today, and it's been kind of a crazy runaround morning. So Amanda and Alan came over here earlier today to start working on the trailer. Alan has been inspecting brakes and bearings and stuff like that to make sure it's ready for the road, and putting the matching mag wheels back on the trailer, and those steelies coming off to be the spares. Amanda did some cleaning up inside. Apparently, Alan cleaned out the hole that the Dino came out of yesterday, because there was a lot of rubber residue and just greasy, nasty stuff that I haven't even gone in there and looked at it yet, but he said it came out pretty good. What I've been doing is gathering parts to be able to put Goliath back together. So I went into town and I got the bearings. We were trying to also find a repair sleeve for the yoke because it was grooved up pretty good. And they didn't have one, but it turns out that a place down in Cleveland, Georgia had it. So as the crow flies, it's only about 38 miles away, but around the mountains, it was over 60 miles away. So I was on the motorcycle anyways in town to get the bearings. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go get it. So went over Blood Mountain. It's been rainy this morning, so the roads were kind of wet. It hasn't actually rained on me, but wet roads. So I was being careful, but it was still a good ride over there for the most part and very enjoyable. And I got the new repair sleeve. This is the old one that we took off, and see, it was worn through in quite a few places. I mean, I did make the cut to get that part off, but I do have a new one to put on. So these are pretty simple for the most part. It's just another sleeve that goes over that damaged part, that the seal on the new seal has a good place to ride and keep the oil in. Now these are a pretty tight fit, so it comes with this little driver that you can use to put it in. I haven't done one of these in a long time. Probably back in the 90s was the last time I did one. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take that pinion and I'm going to throw it in the freezer, let it shrink a little bit, and then I'll warm this up when I go to put it on. That way everything drives on nice and smooth for the most part. Like I said, I got the new bearings this morning though, so the bearing races are in the freezer getting cold, and so is the shaft that we put in here yesterday. So the shaft has shrunk probably as much as it's going to get. We just put those in about 10 minutes ago, so they are freezing right now to shrink them down. Alan and Amanda just went back to Goliath. They're going to grab the other parts that I need that are up there, and grab the toaster oven so we can warm up some of the other parts. Maybe later today we'll actually assemble that whole shaft assembly, and that part will be done and ready to go back in Goliath. All right, and here is the hole in the floor that once held a Dino. And yeah, it cleaned up pretty darn good in there. We're probably gonna end up using this for storage. We're gonna have to rebuild the doors because the doors still have that hole cut out in it, that big keyhole looking thing, which we don't really want there. Hi guys, well, I had forgotten to pick up the camera, but yeah, I pulled the shaft out of the freezer. You can see how frosty it is. Pulled the bearings out of the oven and they just dropped right into place. We're just gonna let it cool like that. I'm actually gonna go set it in a vise so it stays in this orientation, and let it cool down for a little bit, warm up, and let it equalize. Frosty. All right, I still have the bearing carrier in the oven, and the races are still in the freezer, but I just put those races in there, 45 minutes ago. I'm definitely going to give them some more time to shrink down. And I think the carrier has been in the oven maybe half an hour now. I did turn the oven up hotter than I did last time. I'm trying to really get that to expand so I can drop those bearings in. If you guys recall, in the last time we did this, the video in New York, I had trouble getting the bearings to fit in the hole, and I actually ground the outside of the race. Probably the wrong thing to do, but it's what I thought I had to do at that time. Well, when I went to take everything apart this time, it all kind of just like fell apart. So I think that was a mistake to do. So this time I'm trying to avoid that. So I'm trying to get a little bit more heat into the carrier, a little bit more freeze into the actual bearing races, and hopefully get it all to drop together nicely. Hopefully. All right, so next I'm gonna prepare the little repair sleeve for the drive shaft yoke. And what I'm gonna do is I've got this liquid sealant. It's very thin and light. I'm gonna put a light coating on the inside diameter of this, and a very light coating on the outside diameter of the actual drive shaft yoke. I'm gonna let it skin over for a moment, and then I'm gonna drive this on. Now the yoke is still in the freezer, trying to get it to shrink a little bit. But I want a seal between these because I don't want any oil being able to leak between this and the actual yoke. And if there's any imperfections in the surfaces, which there are, which is hence the reason we need this, I just want to make sure that there's nothing that's going to be able to get through this and leak between the two rather than between this and the seal. So I'm going to put this gasket on it real quick, and then I'm going to go set this piece in the sun. It's pretty thin. I don't think I really need to heat it. But this one I'm using is an aviation forma gasket. It's a pure liquid. It's not like a paste or a gel, really light coat, but it will kind of solidify after a few moments. It'll tack up, and then when you put the two surfaces together, usually does a pretty good job. All right, there we go. Just a really thin liquid coating. We'll set this here in the sun and let it warm up a little bit. All right, that looks like that'll work. I'll just wipe off that excess sealant, call it good. Oh, dang it, I forgot to put the camera on again when I was putting the races in. Now, I actually still had trouble. The new races would not fit no matter what. The clearance is so far off, so I'm reusing those old races that I'm not real happy with, but it's the only thing I can find that fits this, because this is some weird Frankenstein. It's got to work. But I did put some of that adhesive sealant, this stuff again, on the outside of the race and the inside of the bore, so that hopefully it'll help kind of glue them together, so to speak, because I can see that like one of the races wants to spin in the bore, which isn't good. All right, guys, still working at it. It's about 8 o'clock at night now. I wasn't happy with the way it went together with those old races. It was just too sloppy. So I played with it some more, had it a little clearance to get rid of some burrs, and we used the shop press, and it was a pain in the butt, but we finally got the races in there. Now there's like no play at all in the shaft. Well, what you're hearing there is just a hit in the vise. It spins nice and smooth. We've got the seal in. All that's left is to put in the yoke. But I kind of keep forgetting to pull out the phone and do some of these things. We had to make a spacer in order to press the second bearing in out of just a piece of old fence pipe that we had laying around here. It was full of concrete, so we had to use a socket and a hammer and beat the concrete out of the inside of it. It was time consuming. But at this point, I think we've got it done. I'm gonna go ahead and put this yoke in it because I can install this with the yoke in it. It'll be ready to go on Goliath tomorrow. All right, guys, there we go. Almost 9 p.m. and we finally have this whole shaft assembly done and ready to go back into Goliath. It literally just bolts in with 4 bolts, and then I have to put the drive shaft back in. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, I hope. Everything should go smooth. Alan got the brakes and bearings done on the trailer today. All the bearings were in really good shape, no play, no wobble. So all we did is re-grease them and adjusted the brakes. All the brakes have a lot of life on them. They just needed an adjustment. So that trailer's pretty much ready to roll. We still got some stuff we want to do to it, but the things that it needed to be done to make it safe to travel are done. So tomorrow we get Goliath fixed. We work on a few other things. I don't know, you'll have to wait till tomorrow to see that. All right, guys, before we close this video out, I wanted to also remind you that next week we are heading to Nashville. It's a new bike week that we've never done before. It is at Boswell's Harley-Davidson, just outside of downtown Nashville. It will be from June 5th to the 8th. So check it out. think it's a pretty good deal for some of you that are in that area that have always wanted us to kind of come to a rally near you. This is our first time doing it. It is a first annual event. They're going to try to turn it into like an official bike week rally. And I think it'll be really cool, and it's relatively close to home. So come out and see us there. Thank you for watching. And until the next time I see you.
Keep those engines running.
What she said.